who actually owns a face after someone dies? It's a huge, profound question, isn't it? I mean, we are stepping into this wild era where human mortality and personal identity are completely colliding with the unsettling, yet absolutely fascinating reality of modern digital necromancy. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to explore a technological frontier that is quite literally challenging the very essence of what it means to be human in front of a camera. So today, we are looking at deepfake ethics, bringing back actors. You know, deepfake technology used to just be this niche, kind of funny visual trick, something you'd see for viral internet memes or amateur edits. But wow, has it evolved. It is rapidly transformed into a billion-dollar powerhouse. Today, it's fully capable of digitally resurrecting deceased actors, letting them star in entirely new films, and it is completely reshaping the landscape of modern storytelling as we know it. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for The Explainer today. We'll start with the digital resurrection era, then look at how AI clones are made, and trace the path from CGI to full AI. After that, we'll tackle the deepfake ethics dilemma, check out governing the digital afterlife, and finally wrap up with responsible AI and the future. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the digital resurrection era. So we're way past the point of just preserving the past on film. Digital resurrection basically means using advanced AI to analyze an actor's past data and then conjure up hyper-realistic, entirely new performances after they've passed away. It is an undeniable technological marvel for sure, but it raises some incredibly deep questions. Like what actually happens to the soul of storytelling when machines can perfectly mimic that irreplaceable spark of a human performance? Where exactly do we draw the line between a beautiful tribute and sheer exploitation? Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. How AI clones are made. And this brilliantly illustrates the tech behind the magic. To really understand the debate, we have to look at the algorithms making these model revivals possible. Enter GANs, generative adversarial networks. Think of it like a high-stakes competitive game between two neural networks. On one side, you've got the generator, which is basically fabricating images and video frames, trying its best to mimic real footage. On the flip side is the discriminator. This acts as a relentless critic, constantly evaluating whether that output is authentic or artificial. Through millions of training cycles on a high-res archival stuff, they seamlessly synthesize facial expressions, lighting, and those tiny, precise micro-movements. So how does this actually look in a modern Hollywood studio workflow? Well, first, producers curate hundreds of hours of reference photos, videos, and audio of the deceased actor. Next, using contemporary breakthroughs like diffusion models, they map the AI right over a living stand-in actor wearing a motion capture suit. Finally, neural audio models step in to clone not just the pitch of the voice, but the emotional inflections and even unique breathing patterns. What used to take months of painstaking post-production can now spit out a fluid, affordable digital double ready for an original script in just a matter of weeks. It's kind of mind-blowing. Moving right along to Section 3, from CGI to full AI. This incredible speed and accuracy obviously didn't just happen overnight. Walking through this timeline, we see a really fascinating progression. GANs were pioneered back in 2014, then early Hollywood tests like 2016's Rogue One still rely pretty heavily on manual CGI modeling. But fast forward to 2024, and films like Alien Romulus were blending AI facial reconstruction directly with practical animatronics. And by 2026, projects like As Deep as the Grave are using full AI to generate entirely new performances from scratch. This shift from heavy manual CGI to pure AI has really transformed the industry's ultimate question from can we do this to should we do this? Which brings us right into Section 4, the deepfake ethics dilemma. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the human reality of the debate. We're facing a massive tension between the creative proponents of the tech, who see it as honoring a legacy, and the ethical critics warning of unchecked exploitation. Take the posthumous consent debate. Zelda Williams, the daughter of the late Robin Williams, has publicly advocated against unauthorized AI deepfakes of her father. She described them as invasive intrusions into his carefully curated public image. And that really highlights the proxy issue. When the deceased can't give approval, the decision falls to grieving relatives or profit-driven studios. That creates a really complex system where an actor might be digitally forced into a project that completely contradicts what they stood for in life. And beyond just consent, the concerns are really mounting up. There's the risk of dignitary harm, basically placing icons in contexts they never would have chosen, which can easily bleed into malicious misinformation. Then there's the economic displacement of living actors. Unions have raised serious, valid alarms that studios might favor recycling a legendary name at a fraction of the cost rather than hiring and training living performers. And finally, you have the uncanny valley effect. That's when audiences report a profound unease, just this weird feeling of witnessing a ghost performing. It is a very delicate balance between preserving an artist's cultural heritage and the sheer risk of commodifying a unique human life into perpetual intellectual property.
Let's shift gears to Section 5, governing the digital afterlife.
So the crucial point is that with all these concerns, regulators globally are scrambling to catch up to a technology that is moving way faster than the law. Right now, we're looking at a very fragmented legal patchwork. Over in California, AB 1836 requires explicit estate consent for AI likenesses. At the U.S. federal level, the proposed No Fix Act is aiming for nationwide safeguards and compensation structures. Meanwhile, Europe's frameworks are emphasizing strong post-mortem rights based on personal dignity and data protection. Because we lack unified global standards, there's a persistent gap and a very real risk of cross-border forum shopping by studios just looking for the most lenient rules.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, responsible AI and the future.
Despite all those legislative hurdles, it's not all doom and gloom. Proponents argue there are incredibly compelling upsides when this technology is used ethically. AI can seamlessly complete unfinished film projects if an actor tragically passes away during production. The cost efficiencies can actually democratize excess, allowing smaller indie films to tell diverse stories. In education, deepfakes can breathe vivid, interactive life into historical figures for documentaries and museums. And therapeutically, voice cloning can provide immense comfort for families through personalized messages. When paired with clear labeling, transparency, and actual family approval, digital resurrection can become a really meaningful bridge across generations.
But it ultimately leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought to reflect on. Are we celebrating life, or are we just denying death? We have to ask ourselves whether true artistic immortality comes from the flawless execution of an AI algorithm, or if it actually comes from the profound finality that makes every genuine human performance so precious and totally irreplaceable.
It's a question that is absolutely going to define the future of cinema and our collective relationship with technology and memory. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this complex landscape in today's Explainer. For more, visit our website, Phrase Solution.